the Driven Dental Podcast.
So the vision challenge, the vision that we have is to grow the dental group while keeping the values that we've always had. So it's having the values of a smaller dental group, but having like the professionalism, the growth, the operational excellence of the bigger groups. And it's really hard to do that sometimes, even behind the scenes. I was joking about banks earlier, but it's actually really not fun right now to try to grow the dental group. We're trying to buy a single building in Lake Mary right now. And the bank that has the practice loan with Lake Mary has some clause in there that has made it so difficult for any other bank to allow us to buy that building. And we've never come across this before, but now it's a problem. And that's, of course, is our main bank. So most of our practices are under it. So if we were to try to buy a building for a practice, a lot of our practices, we wouldn't be able to right now without this ridiculous process that we have to go through. And no seller wants to give you the amount of time to go through the process with your bank. So I can see why groups just partner with a private equity group, get the money, and grow. But we don't want to do that, so we're fighting the good fight behind the scenes. But it is difficult to keep the vision alive. But it is, while we're doing that on our end, it falls on you all to keep the vision of what we had going on the ground floor. So if you have brought new people into your organization, then you have people who don't know your vision. Every organization needs a built-in process for passing on the vision. I tried to do that. The reason I wrote a book initially was because there were so many people, I couldn't talk to all of them. So I thought, I'll just write it down and then maybe some of them will read it. We're starting a podcast that we can talk about our vision more as a company. But then really each interview is the crucial time to talk about the vision. So I know I talk to Carrie about this constantly. I'm sure she's tired of me saying it. But when you're interviewing people at an office or it's their working interview, take some time to talk about the vision of the practice and the company so that they can be on board and you'll know sooner if they're a fit or not. All right, 360-degree leaders are informal conduits that connect the top and bottom of the organization. That's what I was talking about earlier, you all being the eyes and ears. If the vision fails to connect with the workers, it will never come to fruition. 360-degree leaders should strive to take the vision from me to we. And I know we're going to talk about this later. There is so much growth that we can do as a company from unhappy Heartland employees only, just Heartland. We could take a fraction of them and grow to something unbelievable. That doesn't include all the Aspen Dental, Sage, the list goes down. But if we can truly stay connected to our vision and people actually hear about us, which is another reason why I'm trying to do podcasts and wrote a book, then that's how we can grow quickly, hopefully, no matter how frustrating banks are. Think influence, not position. Leadership is influence. If you have neither position nor influence, people will not follow you. Change thinking from I want a position that will make people follow me to I want to become a person whom people will want to follow. How to build influence, become the kind of leader people want to follow. So you can ask yourself, think of somebody who's a great leader or somebody you're drawn to that man, if I had their charisma or whatever, when you're facing something, say, what would that person do? And if you can become that person, then people follow you too. People follow leaders they know, leaders who care. If leaders care about each individual as a person, people will respond well to them, and it must be genuine. So you obviously don't want to have fake conversations with people if you want. People can tell if you're genuine or not. But getting to know who you're leading can only help you build influence with them. As long as you don't obviously cross any lines, but you should know the basics about people and what gives them energy and what makes them tick. People follow leaders they trust, leaders with character. Trust is the foundation of leadership. Develop and exhibit the kind of character you would want to find admirable. I think for this, it's easy to put on a face when you're in front of people. I think it's who you are when no one's looking. That if you can master that, then this trust issue will take care of itself. But again, going back to the trust issue, little things you say, like as if I were boss, I would do that, or if I would do this, that can undermine your trust because then those people are wondering what you're saying about them. People follow leaders they respect, leaders who are competent. While poor leaders demand respect, competent leaders command respect. Being able to do a job well brings the leader credibility. This goes back to what I was talking about earlier, where dentistry is such an amazing opportunity because you're not in the office that much compared to what another industry you could be in. So when you're not in that office, take some time to think how to get better as a person, but also to get the office better. It's called working on the business. There's endless resources to get better at your job, and it doesn't take that much time or that much extra effort to raise your level to something that you hadn't thought of because you hadn't taken the time to do it yet. So the more competent you are, if someone is just awesome at their job, people are going to follow you by default, like a good number of people. So people follow leaders they can approach, leaders who are consistent. I feel like we do a very good job of this. I'm very steady when it comes to something like good news or bad news, and I think the regionals are as well. And the managers, I think, do a really good job as well. But make sure that you're approachable. Don't have different versions of you that show up on different days. Just be yourself. People follow who they admire, leaders with commitment. Qualities of an influencer is integrity, nurturing, faith, listening, understanding, enlarging, navigating, connecting, and empowering.